would speculate if it was...
Shh, we're live. Or about to be. Don't say it unless you want it on here. Okay, so not Facebook, but Twitter and YouTube. Okay. So, we are back on testing something. All right, he's at Bill Cimbella's asking about Facebook. We're working on it. It was a blessing, honestly, that Facebook crapped out on us. Because,
yeah, that wouldn't have been good.
No, I mean, so that's fine. All right. I will post the Zoom link here. So, if anyone's listening, we are just retesting some things. We had a problem with streaming to Facebook Live tonight for the first time. We were going to do an online town hall for Bill Cimbrello, and we posted, or he posted, the link publicly, which you always run the risk of having trolls pop in. But it's the first time we really dealt with that. So it's easy to deal with. We figured out a way we can handle it in Zoom, but I think the best thing going forward is for these online town halls, for candidates to sort of, ask people to, ahead of time to join, and kind of, that way you at least know who is going to pop in. And because it's just very distracting. I mean, we can boot people out, we can put them on hold, we can remove them, but it's distracting from the conversation. So anyway, all right, Brian, I'm just going to see if I can test going to the, I'll change this to my Facebook page.
And we've got Snork.
Oh, good. Hi, Snork.
Yeah, and there he is.
How's it going?
Hey, Snork.
Did you get a haircut?
Looks like it.
I got a haircut. Sorry, I didn't have my room cleaned up.
Oh, no. Shame on you. No, I saw you. It was funny. I rarely even turn on the television. We don't have cable, but I was kind of multitasking the other night, so I was watching Real News Network and things on YouTube through the Roku, but I pulled up, and the first thing that popped up was you and James talking. So you guys were on the big screen, and I was like, oh, Snort got a haircut. Anyway, it's kind of funny to see, for things we regularly watch on YouTube, on the big screen on television. Much better than MSNBC, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But, so did you witness our lovely...
Yes, and like I said, we had the same troll.
Oh, you... Same one. You're sure? Was it the...
Well, at least they did the same thing.
Oh, well, okay.
Oh, then it was, yeah, okay. Would probably be the same
now, by that, do you mean the Mario and Luigi stuff, or the porn, or what? All of it?
Yeah, whatever that what dancing was.
Oh, okay.
Person was on for a long time without any comments, and then degraded.
Right.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna try a couple of things, and I'm actually gonna put in a ticket with Zoom, because you have to, download Zoom, and they know you identify yourself that way. So,
right.
Wondering.
I actually got a picture of the actual person.
Oh, you did.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
He forgot and came on camera on one of his
Oh, like that guy did a long time ago on Ebon's channel. That was great, and Ebon got a picture of him. Okay, so do you guys have the picture?
James would.
Okay.
All right.
But he would appear early in our show when we had the people. I didn't even get the timing, but
You said Monday?
Monday night.
And who
Okay.
did you have on Monday?
At that time, I think it was me and James. Forgot who we were talking to. The people that came on did not use the same names on screen that you did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's interesting because that kind of tells me we were trying to figure out whether they were.
I think I know who it is. Yeah. I think we were right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Did
we
you
were.
recognize the person?
Do what?
Did you see the picture from James?
No, I didn't.
No. We had an idea of who, or at least what the organization was earlier, and we're pretty sure that's who it is from your description.
Well, so we were trying to figure out because Bill Sombrello posted a link to it on his Twitter page and I think on Facebook. So we were trying to determine if, it was from that or if they were targeting us. But I think that pretty much answers the question there.
No, I think they pulled it from Facebook. He posted it on his Facebook page. I think that's where they got it.
Okay, but then that means someone is actually, looking at things from multiple angles.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, who would waste their time doing that?
I think we know.
Oh,
You'll have
boy.
to tell me sometime.
Yeah, well, they're
Very frustrating.
not worth the airtime for that. But I mean, it can be random. It can be we've got to watch out for targeted things, whether it's just people bored and deciding to mess with us, or if it is like this article I posted today about COINTELPRO from Who What Why. Well, it was really interesting. There's a great little picture here of J. Edgar Troll. This is easier. I'm just going to hold it up here.
Nice.
But I mean, we know that this happens. We know it does in activist groups. So, it could be something like that, or it could just be, bad actors, we'll say. But this is really interesting, though. This Who What Why article, it talks about what agents do. Okay, gaining trust. Agents begin relationships behind a well-developed mask of dedication to the cause. They often declare this dedication and engage in actions designed to prove it. Anyway, controlled by flattery. A favorite ploy of the agent is to privately tell an activist you're a natural leader, that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. So that may not be the case in this situation, but it is interesting. It does happen. So, okay, so the other problem we had was we could not, Facebook Live was not working, which was very strange.
I think that actually was an issue with Facebook, though. That just, that sounds too bizarre. It worked yesterday just fine without a problem. And then today, I think it's Facebook. It has those issues from time to time.
Yeah, but it was it turned out better that it wasn't working because we weren't broadcasting all that nonsense to Bill Sombrello's Facebook page. So it just crapped out and it wouldn't connect. So the trolls are not on his Facebook page, so that's good. Okay, I think I will just try this on my own page. Testing. Because I don't know why that was not working. Well, so what's new, Snork?
Oh, not much. we had that problem with the troll, and I saw that, and I thought right away, yep, that's him.
Okay. Yeah, let's see if we
were
can.
talking about the earthquakes in California and
Right.
Hawaii,
Uh-huh.
and we just started getting this guy called Anthony called in,
Mm-hmm.
and we could hear him going to the toilet. At first, I thought somebody had left an open mic.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. Nice. Well, thank you for alerting us and letting us know.
I got his picture.
Oh, you have it now? Can
Yes,
you send it?
Can I share?
Yeah, go
Sure.
ahead. Definitely.
Get the right screen. Are you seeing James with a hand over his face and me with a hand up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Look in the bottom left corner.
Okay.
That's when he was answering questions from us. So I believe that was live and an actual person. And he had the same name as the person that sounded like they were using the toilet.
Okay.
The second one, this Vincent Benoit, looks like the picture you had, and then went into the same dancer afterwards.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
does this look like the guy that you think he is?
We don't know any specific people. We're guessing it's a particular organization we've had some issues with.
And since it was two different lines, it might have
Right.
been two or more people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
I'm unsure.
Okay. Well,
But no, it's a problem. Well, we're getting recognized as a problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And well, I thought maybe, that's a good sign that Bill Sombrello is a threat, maybe they're, somebody targeting him, but anyway, okay, Facebook is still apparently not working.
Now, did we lose Brill for the evening then?
Yeah, it was, but it was 9:30, and I think everybody was just kind of like distracted, and
Yeah.
so the problem was that having an online town hall and then just posting the link right then at that moment, I think is the wrong way to go about it. And we should have thought about that, Brian, honestly, because that's not how we've done it other times.
Right. Yeah.
The best thing to do is announce it, up to even a week ahead of time. And then you can say, he could put a notice on his Facebook page. If you'd like to join, please message me or to message one of us. And then we could at least get some idea. I mean, someone could conceal their identity and do all this, whatever, but that's less likely than spur of the moment. They see it there and they, So if we sort of have a list of people that are going to be on, we have some idea who they are, they've either identified themselves through Facebook or whatever, then there's just a less likely, much less likely for that to happen.
Well, we're looking for things that might help us. Green room is the one step, but that doesn't help either. We've had to make it through the green room.
Okay.
Now, because it's somebody we don't know, and we were giving them the benefit of the doubt and letting them through.
Right.
And now James is starting to say, we want to see you in chatting for a while before you come on live.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah.
somebody
Good
we
idea.
build a rapport with.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody that I think the next step is really somebody that is willing to send you their email address
Mm-hmm.
and not have it be an anonymous email address.
Right.
Right.
I think you guys have seen my email address. It's no way not anonymous.
No.
Right.
Definitely says Snorky Y2K something on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on one second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
But this anonymity lets all kinds of stuff go by.
Yes.
It lets people be freer to talk. They don't have to worry about their boss firing them for talking about an honest thing. But same hand. people are using it and abusing it.
Yeah.
And, you know, with my Scandinavian heritage, I object to the word troll. I'm 10% troll.
I approve of that.
Yeah.
What the heck
Well, I mean,
is
as people used to find old skulls, they theorized that it was monsters.
Right.
You know, now they found that they interbred into the Scandinavians. And that the Neanderthals are likely the trolls.
Oh, okay.
You know, the occasional dinosaur found was the dragons. But
Sorry, I'm just trying to monkey with the settings on here.
Freeloading, but yeah, the troll issue is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
We have it more than in chat than we do on screen.
Oh, of course, that's always the problem.
Yeah. You have more people in chat because, you know, it's what's difficult to match. It's you post something kooky and you leave.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you don't have to show your face, of course you're going to say and do you know, I mean, that's why we don't really, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the type chat. You know, some people can say, oh, we're not trying to thwart anybody's, what they have to say, but come on and, you know, you're welcome to come on and debate. But I feel like a lot of people that just sit and chat kind of stir stuff up. And, you know, I mean, you don't have to, you can do like Shirley does and just, you know, not really show your whole face, but having your voice at least on there, something. Kind of shows I don't know, I just think people act differently when they have to do that. I don't know what is going on with Facebook. I wonder if I should just try another browser. We have never had this problem. We use Facebook Live.
Which browser are you on?
Chrome.
Okay.
I'll try.
I can't see why Chrome wouldn't work with Facebook.
I don't know either. Firefox. Okay. All right.
Firefox.
Try that because I don't know what. This is bizarre. Anyway, so that was too bad that our Bill's Town Hall got messed up. But that's okay. We'll have better questions and everything if people are committed ahead of time. Okay, let's try Facebook Live on Firefox. See if that does it. So, how often is James on now?
Usually 2 nights a week and sometimes a third.
Oh, okay.
Mondays and Tuesdays, he's pretty much settled on are the days he's going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Abon is actually doing something about fishing right now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I know he's out in, Nebraska?
Started, right? I got a notice right after I came in here. Then Ryan was doing a few, but I haven't noticed many lately. And Independent Outsider has one coming up, but I think it's going to be a pre-recorded.
Now Ryan, you're talking about
Ryan
from Australia?
Yes,
Oh.
Bannock.
Okay. This is odd. I don't know. Does James stream to Facebook?
No, I think he just does to YouTube, as far as I can tell. YouTube and maybe Twitter.
Yeah.
He does restream to something else.
Does he?
Yeah, but I don't know what he's restreaming to.
Okay.
Okay. So I would love to talk about this article, but hang on just a sec. I'm gonna try one more thing.
Well, I posted the link in the chat. And no takers. Interesting.
Wonder why they would make the connection between. No.
Oh, you'll have a nice ice drink real quick. That's life.
Do what?
That's life.
Oh. Okay. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm still getting this huge number of followers from Turkey.
From Turkey?
Turkey.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
I can't think of what I say that's interesting in Turkey.
Let's see.
Yeah, one time I was getting 20 follows a day from Turkey. Now it's 1 or 2. Even 1 or 2 a day sounds a lot to me.
That's just odd.
Yeah. Well, we had CFAR called a Russian bot organization or something recently. And I figured out why.
That maybe
You-
anything I can do there. That line didn't have much.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you very much. All right. I don't know what is up, if it's the browser or what, but
It's still
Facebook.
not working.
No,
It's got to be something with Facebook itself then.
I guess so. I don't know. Just won't.
Did it not work in Firefox?
Well, I tried that, except
What?
it still has your Facebook.
Didn't log out, log yours in.
I was trying to do all that, but it just became a pain. So, look, I logged you out.
Mm-hmm. Put your email address in.
I know how to do that. I don't know. I think it's a problem with Facebook. Maybe I'm in Facebook jail. Is this what happens? I hear people say that.
Yeah, I haven't encountered it yet.
That's not right. Don't remember.
Okay.
What?
In Chrome,
Uh-huh.
hit the little 3 dots.
Uh-huh.
And go to settings.
Uh-huh.
Ryzen 2 Pro.
Do what?
Smart.
I
What's
think
that?
you froze, Brian.
What do you think of the new Ryzen 2 processors?
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, okay.
I've been, I may chat a couple hours here and there to just kind of relax, but mostly I've been trying to get this water project going.
Gotcha.
In order to do that, I've had to help with some projects with some other specialists, like chemists. How can I, guarantee that my chemical tests are proper, and that I can give references to their documents saying this is the test to use for water.
Right.
So that unlike most of the water testers and people are out there, we're trying to provide the people with what's safe, not what's profitable. And
Gotcha. Right.
there are things like the water pitchers that are
That work?
they're not exactly what I would call frauds, but they're not exactly doing what the people think they are.
Right.
So they are reducing the amount of lead, but we really want to eliminate as much as possible of the lead.
Right.
And the amount that actually gets reduced isn't that much. And they claim that they keep the good chemicals. Well, they're one of the first things filtered out. It's not that easy to get the calcium out without getting the lead out. Get the lead out without getting the calcium stuff out.
Right.
So the benefits aren't really there. But when we say that in a GoFundMe or whatever we choose to use for the crowdsourcing,
Right.
we want it to be true, so that the people can at least trust it. And part of what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise money not only to get the people that can't afford it. Is that the people who can afford to get the proper stuff? This technology is already out there on the market. People who can already afford it can just go out and get it anytime they want. The people who can't afford it, that's why we want to do a GoFundMe and do it as a charity. We want to get the water purification to the people who can't go out and buy one. And that are stuck with drinking the tap water that is toxic and has a risk of being more toxic. We want to get those people. We want to let them know that no, they should not be buying a pitcher that they put in the refrigerator. That's not helping. It's just costing you extra money. It might taste a little bit better. You take some stuff out, and what they're using are granulated activated carbon filters, and some of the filters actually have what are called ion exchange filters. Well, the ion exchange filters takes all the cations out and substitutes it with something like sodium. Well, that's not helping either.
No.
Where's Facebook over here?
So we're looking at what we can do to get these people reduce lead. First pass is to get clean water at their sinks. Second pass is to get a large reduction in the lead in their shower bathing water. And we want to bring it to California too. But the cost for this in California is that it's going to waste 3 gallons of water, 3 to 4 gallons of water, for every gallon that's delivered to the faucet.
Right.
In California, water is precious. So we're working on developing a recycling program for recycling our discharge water to be used for flushing the toilets in California.
That makes sense.
So that, we're having water that can't be clean to drink or shower with. Surely it's good enough to wash clothes and flush the toilet.
Right.
And California's not ready for that. Don't have the transfer system to get it from storage to the toilet, because the toilet needs a pump.
You told me to change it.
Don't have the storage system to get it to your laundry. And there's plastic that we'd like to hopefully have enough of the kitty left over from the first project to get the second one, and the second one would be to expand to the other states, so that we could recycle used milk jugs to make equipment to handle the storing and being able to flush. And the last thing you want to have the people run out of water and not be able to flush. So you have to have an automatic system in there that flips it from using the wastewater to new water if you run out. And luckily, and people don't realize this, and one of the biggest things people don't realize is you can build computers that run on water instead of run on electricity. But they're big, they're slow, and they're not as convenient, not as easy.
No.
But what we do is we make with the logic, and it's called hydraulics. Anything that's used in fluid, it's called hydraulics. And so you'd use hydraulic logic. And just like in electronics, they call the little chips logic. We use little valves, we call it logic. So that we can automate it pretty easily and very reliably to switch. The thing is, we're going to need to put some people to work.
Right.
And so when we go to California, we want to be ready. Right now we're still getting ready to film what we need for our GoFundMe. Are you still having problems on your end with it?
Yeah, I'm beginning to think I'm in
Restart your stream.
the Facebook jail. No, I don't want to cut it because it's on everywhere else. That's not going to do it. I think I'll have to look it up and see.
Well, it's not connected, so unless that says online, it won't allow you to hit go live. Click back over on Facebook.
Yeah, but this is different. It's never done this before. It's just not going. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're put in Facebook jail, that's what they do. I mean, it's literally where the little button that you click go live is just not
It's not
highlighted.
connected to Restream, so you can't go live until it says online and Restream.
But why is it not connecting to Restream? There's no reason.
But you changed it, but I don't know. I mean, you probably have to stop and restart the stream.
I've already done that. I don't think that's it. Okay, I'm going to try to just delete the channel and add it again, I guess. Maybe that'll do it. Annoying. Well, I mean, it's not surprising if I would be in Facebook jail, right? I mean, I guess I have heard people are just put in Facebook jail. I guess they keep you from being able to post on, if, I don't know, they deem you fake news or something, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I mean, I posted a Lee Camp video today. Or not video, article. That would probably do it. I don't know. It was from Truthdig, not RT. Oh, wait. It might be connecting now. How weird. No, wait. Nope. That's interesting. I just don't know how you tell. I mean, I didn't get any notice you're in Facebook jail or anything.
How weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Camera. Everything's good there. Okay. Connect. Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. And it's not the browser either. So it has nothing to do with it. I just hope that we can get it fixed, or... Now wait a minute. That would mean I'm in Facebook jail with my own personal page and the CFAR page.
Yep. Yeah.
That just doesn't seem right. I think there's...
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with Facebook.
Yeah, wish I could get someone else to test it. But, alright. Try one other thing. Well, anyway, I think I'll give up on this for now, because it's just annoying.
Alright.
I actually wanted to talk about this article, but nobody's read it. It'll be a little, I don't want to just sit here and read it out loud, but I could kind of try to summarize it. It was in Truthdig by Lee Camp, and it's titled, "I Know Which Country the U.S. Will Invade Next." And basically just goes into, here, I'll try to scan a little bit. Oh, whoops. I'm still on. Good. Green screen there. Okay. One sec. We all know that the invasion of Iraq had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction. We now know that the crushing of Libya had nothing to do with stopping a bad man. If one does even a cursory check of what dictators around the world are up to recently, you'll find that the U.S. doesn't care in the slightest whether they are bad or good, whether they're using their free time to kill thousands of innocent people, or to harmonize their rock garden. In fact, the U.S. gives military aid to 70% of the world's dictators.
Right.
So it's not for the stated reasons, so why does the U.S. Overrun, topple, and sometimes occupy the countries it does? Obviously, there are oil resources or rare minerals to be had, but there's something else that links almost all of our recent wars. You want to fill it? Well, okay. The Guardian reported near the beginning of the Iraq War, and
It's our currency, isn't it? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, October 2000, Iraq insisted on dumping the U.S. dollar.
Yep.
The currency of the enemy, for the more multilateral euro. Let's see. Okay, soon after Libya began moving toward an African gold-based currency and lining up all its African neighbors to join it, we invaded it as well with the help of NATO. And then we have, this week, The Intercept reported that the ousting of Gaddafi, which was in many ways led by President Nicolas Sarkozy of France, actually had to do with Sarkozy secretly receiving millions from Gaddafi, and it seemed that his corruption was about to be revealed. What do we have here? But the article also noted Sarkozy's real military zeal and desire for regime change came only after Hillary Clinton and the Arab League broadcasted their desire to see Gaddafi go. So right now you may be thinking, but Lee, your theory is ridiculous. If these invasions were about the banking, then the rebels in Libya, getting help from NATO and the United States, would have set up a new banking system after bringing down Gaddafi. Actually, they didn't wait that long. In the middle of the brutal war, the Libyan rebels formed their own central bank.
Yes.
I didn't know this stuff. As you know, economics is one of my favorite topics. But here we go. Many of you know about General Wesley Clark's famous quote about 7 countries in 5 years. Former head of NATO, ran for president, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but he'll be remembered for the fact he told us that the Pentagon said to him in 2002, we're going to take down 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, then Syria, Lebanon, then Libya, Somalia, Sudan. We're going to come back and get Iran in 5 years. Wow. Okay, so let me scan back down a second. Okay, and then let's see, who was it that wrote this? It was analysis of Wesley Clark's bombshell. Somebody, Brown. Okay, what do these 7 countries have in common? None of them is listed among the 56 member banks of the Bank for International Settlements. That evidently puts them outside the long regulatory arm of the central bankers. Central Bank in Switzerland. The most renegade of the lot would be Libya and Iraq. So basically saying it's all about the banking. So, okay, why is the U.S. eager to turn Syria into a failed state if Syria never dropped the dollar? In February 2006, Syria dropped the dollar as its primary hard currency. Pakistan was ditching the dollar in its trade with China. The same day, the U.S. placed it on the watch list for religious freedom violations.
Mm-hmm.
The same day? Are we really supposed to believe that it just so happened that Pakistan stopped using the dollar with China on the same day it started punching Christians in the nose for no good reason? This leaves only one question. Who will be next on the list of U.S. illegal invasions, cloaked in bullshit? So, hang on. This week, the U.S. military-industrial complex, the corporate media, and Israel all got together to claim that Iran is lying about its nuclear weapons development. What are the odds that this news would break within days of Iran dropping the dollar? Increasing number of report. We will now see the mainstream media running an increasing number of reports pushing the idea that Iran is a sponsor of terrorism and trying to develop nuclear weapons. Hang on. I'm trying to just read the whole thing, but point is so I posted this today, and I think it angered the MMT gods.
Did it?
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know, Snork, you're a smart guy. You probably understand economics, I'm sure, better than I do. But, you know, and I don't want to get into a big debate about MMT. But, you know, the way I always explain my understanding is that, you know, we have all this money to spend on the military, right? I mean, so it just makes sense that we should be able to spend it elsewhere. But, you know, the criticism I always hear of doing that, of just spending on whatever it is, military or if we can just spend it on everything else we want, free college tuition and all that. And people always say, well, there'd be inflation, and also well, I know, and also that the U.S. does not operate in a vacuum. Our dollar, it's, you know, the dollar has value outside of the U.S., or it doesn't. I mean, it can go up or down. I know now it's down because I had to pay more for my daughter's tuition in Scotland. But, you know, I wondered why this, can somebody explain to me why this is so this person said Lee Camp is clueless on economics and the monetary system. Now, in my very limited understanding of all this, I thought to myself, does this anger people? Because the article is basically saying that, yeah, the dollar is interconnected with other currencies in the world, and, you know, what we do affects and whether other countries decide to not value the dollar, that affects. We can't operate in a vacuum of just doing whatever we want, right? I mean, can you translate this better?
Well, I
mean, why would that article make someone... Okay. Sorry. Go.
Who, me?
Either of you. Anybody that can make more sense of it.
Yes. Yeah, let me explain a little. They're not attacking the article per se. They are attacking previous statements that the Lee Camp has made about taxation. That's what they're attacking. It has nothing to do with the article. Because to attack the article on what it's saying would make no sense, because the article is factually accurate. That is accurate. Because it helps to give our currency value, plain and simple. Now, the thing is with modern monetary theory is you need a means of giving the currency value. One of the ways that we do that is with our foreign policy. Our ability to enforce our foreign policy around the world is what helps to give our currency weight and give it value. So attacking this article for that purpose makes no sense, because, again, they're attacking our previous statements that Lee Camp has made about taxation. That's it.
Well, but I guess I'm not wording this right, because I'm honestly very bad at this stuff. But my understanding is, you know, I mean, if other countries, if the rest of the world decides the dollar isn't, they don't want to trade in it, they're not going to give it value, doesn't that...
Yes, it affects the value of the currency, absolutely.
Right, so I thought maybe that was kind of... Because what I understand from MMT is, like, we just operate in this vacuum, and we can just print money, and it's not going to affect anything.
It's why countries owning our debt, per se, is actually a good thing, if you really look at it. Because what it does is it gives us leverage over them. Because if they're holding on to our debt, they don't want the value of our currency to drop, because, you know, they have a stake in it.
Well, anyway, I don't know. I guess that is Snork. You say your whatever
Yeah.
you were gonna say.
Well, the it is an issue because whether you think about is the money correct or not doesn't matter. That the theories don't matter. It's what are the people being fed who make the decisions.
Right. Yes.
And they might not be being fed information by one group or the other. They're being fed by people who are hired by the banks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So people with money make a lot of decisions. And let's go back a year ago. China, we were holding back whether we should give some high power aircraft to Saudi Arabia. And the issue came up, should they switch to the yuan, instead of the dollar? Bang, they got their aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter? Yes, it does. And
right. So if they just decide to start trading in chickens again or something, then in the U.S. dollar, it could mean nothing.
Yes.
right.
So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong in interpreting why. Maybe you're right. It was just because Lee
The
Camp
same
said
thing
other
was true
things.
with NAFTA. A lot of the people that left the companies, it did not make economic sense if you went off and looked at it. You know what they were going to lose when they went offshore.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of companies that went offshore actually went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
And I know even one company, the worst economic instance I know was one that decided to have their water bottled in Mexico. So the bottles had to say bottled in Mexico, and they couldn't sell them here in the United States.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know why.
No.
But anyway,
Right.
very bad economic decision.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, they picked up these books, and back then the magazines for the people that read it would golf all day, read a magazine, and then go out and tell their people what has to be done.
Hmm.
They were being told in their magazines, this is the time to offshore everything.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look at anything other than what was in the magazine. All their own people were looked at as slugs, and they moved offshore. They did. And it was a thing where if you owned or you're at your golf course playing and everybody else had moved their factories offshore, they didn't want to be the one that left them there. And many business decisions are made for completely stupid reasons. And I believe the same thing is probably true in government.
Yeah.
Is that, again, facts don't matter, perceptions do.
Okay, so your take on this trashing this article is just because... Okay. So my first thought, and I don't really care, I'm going to say this on the air. My first thought was it's just the typical, okay, this person doesn't accept MMT, so everything else they say, they're just a neoliberal murderer, whatever awful person that we've heard, right? So the rest of it was, the Lee Camp's clueless, which I'll follow up on. This piece is worthless conspiracy type stuff. About who we're invading? Really? Okay.
Knowledge bubbles up.
Yes.
Think about it. At the same time, we had people think out the Constitution and everything. Those same people were going to barbers to get blood drained out of them so that if they had, illnesses.
Right.
So not somebody could be perfectly intelligent and still do something stupid.
Yes.
It's the information that bubbles up and bubbles by them at the time. And the information that they view credible at the time. So I don't want to put down MMT or anything else. What I'm saying is, if the other people don't buy it and they're making their decisions not thinking of these other theories, it doesn't matter.
Right.
We have, there's some people you can't visit if you have a visible tattoo. There are many forms of government that, if we send an embassy to or whatever, we have to learn the culture and how the environment. So there are so many different rules about how things are handled. There are groups that expect it to get a financial exchange for anything they do when they run for president. So, again, don't want to anger anybody, but the truth doesn't matter. The proper science doesn't matter. It's what the people who make decisions perceive to matter.
I guess so. So the last sentence was, saying this is conspiracy type stuff, the type bankers love to see, as it distracts from the real frauds they're up to. I guess I'm just sick and tired of seeing what I witnessed, and again, I don't really care. Besides, we don't have many viewers, but every single person out there, every single candidate, every activist that doesn't embrace MMT, everything else they say is just worthless bullshit. Like, I just don't understand how that is something to bring people together in this movement. I mean, most reasonable, progressive, or whatever, most people just will look at like what our government does with our budget and say, that's ridiculous. We always have money to spend on the military. So we're all pretty much in agreement and all of that. So to create this more division and in my mind to like, say that Lee Camp's writing is this worthless conspiracy stuff. What? Like, it doesn't, just because someone doesn't accept the one thing that's your pet issue doesn't mean that everything else they say is worthless. And I don't know. I don't get that. I mean, I'm the kind of person that can say, I'm not a Trump supporter, but if he does something good, I can go, okay, well, on that one issue, they're right. This mentality of like, if somebody doesn't agree with you on all points, that everything they say is no good. I just don't get it. Never.
Well,
that's how some people think, I guess. I don't know.
The main thing is, you want to get any change done, you have to make a plan for the change. Mm-hmm. And you have to be realistic about the change. Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take one? Is it going to take 100? Mm-hmm. Do you have to generationally train people to change their means of thought? And if we're going to be training them, what do we need to do to get that training in place? And how long? Sometimes it can seem dauntless. And I think we all do need a better education of our finance system. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons any of this discussion can't come about is so many people are unsure of their own thoughts on economy to move forward. Mm-hmm. And many of them, their eyes glaze over when you start talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how can you do it and have it be interesting? How can you do it in a way that people don't feel that it's a conspiracy theory? Mm-hmm. I mean, because there's stuff out there. If you want conspiracy theories, it's usually the ones that are the most talked about are bunk.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, even and the more bunkier they are, the harder they are to get rid of, like astrology.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it is an ongoing, constant challenge. But we have to remember, just like we look at, George Washington and the barbers, the people that bled them for money, not the people that, or bled them for health, not for
money too, right?
Of course, did the barbers do a good job with this haircut? Mm-hmm. I would say
lots of room for your headphones there.
Not my barber, George Washington barbers. We have to realize that sometimes you have to pick out what was good about everybody and what was bad. It was Jefferson kept the slaves, but he had so much ideas about living in freedom. In their time, people in Europe still were slaves, and it was just built into the system in such a way that they weren't used by the word slaves. But just as many people are corporate slaves now, they still can't decide everything in their lives, and many people still get killed at work.
Well, I mean, there are some things that, sure, like, I guess are so extreme that maybe you wouldn't, I don't know, you wouldn't quote someone on something else even if you agreed with them because they're so extreme on some other big important issue. But I don't know, it's just part of all the division that we've seen on the left, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to tell whether it is just individual egos getting in the way or if there is some bit of infiltration of the movement. And, not to sound paranoid, because I like to see evidence of that, but when you get in and start reading, like this article on Who, What, Why about COINTELPRO and what they did in the 60s, and how much easier it is to do it now because you just infiltrate these groups. A lot of them are online, so I think there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, it's a lot like geology, where the general premise is processes that are going on now went on in the past.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Or process that went on in the past goes on now.
Mm-hmm.
So all the sciences, you take one rule, you pretty much could find that something is behaving the same way in another science.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll share this today. I actually thought about starting off with this, but so we heard that there was a particular, just this person on Twitter saying that CFAR was a Russian bot or something. That I guess that would be John's handle, the CFAR 2018. And so I happened to find this person. There it is. And I was just curious, and lo and behold, there were, instead of addressing us and me in a couple spots, it was something I had retweeted, not that one. Instead of, addressing us on Twitter, this person took screenshots of things. Yeah, there I am. Corey from Our Voice retweeted something so instead of addressing us and asking us about it, they took screenshots of what we said and kind of twisted around what was said. And I noticed a candidate followed this person. Wasn't a candidate that had signed on to CFAR, running as a Democrat, but unfollowed me, which, okay, fine, whatever. But it's a candidate, and I'm working for CFAR, and I just said I wanted to let you know, here's a link to CFAR, and this is what we're really about. And I think that you may have been, misled on what we're about. So it started. So isn't that odd? Like instead of tweeting at us, they just take screenshots of it to share out with other people. I mean, what can you do about that? Nothing, Yeah. But so I guess I take it this person is very much a a Hillary shill, a Democratic establishment kind of person, a voter. But so they took a screenshot of Our Voice, which we are, I think, going to be working with just to put the CFAR candidates in their database. And honestly, Our Voice is doing a great thing with their app, where you go in and you just put in where you live, and it pops up like your district and all the stuff about the candidates. And it's honestly, it's brilliant. I think it's great because the amount of work you have to go through digging through Ballotpedia to learn about who you can vote for and what they stand for and all that is a lot of work. So if someone, the younger generations especially, you just give them an app and they can pull it up and look and see what's there, I think it's great. So anyway, we're just going to have CFAR candidates be put in their database, and it'll have like a little stamp, little emblem of CFAR. But so Our Voice happens to be some pretty progressive people, but they decided to make their platform nonpartisan. They said they had some groups that kind of backed away because of that, because they actually have, let's see, where's the other screenshot? Mitch McConnell. He's just listed. It's a database so you can know who people are. I mean, okay, you can look at it from another angle. Maybe someone can look up and go, oh, I don't want to vote for Mitch McConnell. Look at all this information about him, right? But anyway, they're a nonpartisan platform. But what this person tweeted was Our Voice had retweeted CFAR. I guess this is all like guilt by association. So they showed that Our Voice had tweeted out Mitch McConnell. All it is it says Our Voice web app can assist you as you contact your representatives. It can help you do opposition research on candidates or learn more about those you like. We recently started the process to integrate with CFAR 2018, and you can see who they back. Now, you could take any one of those sentences and, look at it from any angle. Okay, it doesn't say CFAR 2018 backs Mitch McConnell. It says you can do opposition research on candidates. So, you can take it any way. But then, so CFAR 2018 retweeted this. And so this person is taking these screenshots and trying to basically paint that CFAR is an organization, the way I'm seeing this, and the way it looks, just a screenshot, is that CFAR is this organization that supports Mitch McConnell. That's what it looks like. You see?
Yeah.
And the shot before that was Our Voice. Somebody at Our Voice had retweeted something in support of Assange. So I guess that, that of course is taboo. Forget the fact that the left used to like WikiLeaks when they were exposing what Bush did, but I guess they're of that Hillbot mindset that anybody that would retweet something about Assange is automatically the enemy. So there was that. And then, so that's 2 screenshots. The third one is a screenshot of my tweet. And again, anybody can do that. That's fine. I find it a little odd to take screenshots of other people's tweets and then post them on Twitter but not address them. That's odd, but
Well, that's so that they don't have to address them.
right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, of course. So I called them out on it. This was my tweet, which I know when I tweeted it was controversial, but I don't care. I'm in agreement with Glenn Greenwald that there is still no evidence. Is it possible Russia did stuff, colluded with Trump and hacked the election? Sure, there's still no evidence. So I tweeted the stuff about Judge Ellis saying that, the Manafort in the case, that basically in not so many words, but he calling it a witch hunt. And I said, this is an attempt at a coup. This should scare the shit out of everyone. Anyone thinking removing a sitting president based on a false narrative, but just hoping they find something, anything unrelated, is good. Wake the hell up. It's the same people wanting Assange taken down. So this person, and then someone from Our Voice retweeted or responded to me and said, is Judge Ellis another Russian agent? But to this person, I feel like they were trying to signal out to all of their followers that we are, I guess to them, they don't understand the real dissent on the left. And to them, we are just somehow, we're Russian bots, I guess. That's what Joy Reid tells them. That's what Rachel Maddow tells them. So, the only reason I actually contacted a candidate that unfollowed me was because I noticed they followed this person, and I wanted them to understand, like, look at the CFAR, contract itself, and, we are focusing on issues, and this person was trying to paint out that, we're like, Mitch McConnell hasn't signed the contract, Anyway.
Ridiculous.
It is. So, why not address me directly? It's so, as you said, it's just obvious.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, wait, there's one other part. So you remember the candidate, Helen Alley, Helen Alley or Ollie. So she was running as a Dem, and the primary is June 12th in Virginia.
Right.
But she left and is now with or I guess she was before, but she's with the New Modern Whig Party. And
Right.
will go straight to the general election. So again, the same person takes a screenshot of someone else saying, "Why are you attempting to deceive voters by publishing and promoting false election days?" Because it's hard to keep up with every single, I don't know what date that she changed, back to running as a Whig, but we were not made aware. She didn't let us know, I guess. And so, but they were basically accusing CFAR of putting out false information. So this is the kind of shit that goes on. And I actually didn't answer this person back yet. I said I didn't appreciate the disinformation they were trying to push. But they're just, of course, denying it. So.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that is going to happen because you've got so many people that are just so devoted to their narrative that they see anybody who's against it as a threat. So that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Oh, here was their answer. Where is the disinformation? This is from the CFAR page. Helen Ollie was clarifying her party affiliation as a result of CFAR posting the wrong date for the Democratic primary. It wasn't the wrong date. It was that she isn't running as a Dem. It created some confusion when the wrong date was posted. So I don't know what to think. To accuse this person of being controlled opposition or something, except I'm not that conspiratorial. They said we're Russian bots because we don't go along with the narrative they do. I don't know. Anyway, I guess I'll respond again, but so that's the kind of stuff going on.
I wouldn't bother. I mean, you've got to understand something. The mentality that is prevalent within this particular camp, they might as well be flat earthers. I mean, that's really what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people that are just so devoid of the ability to look at things rationally. That anything you tell them is just not, it's not going to connect.
I guess you're right. I just kind of hope that somehow these people, I mean, they're literally victims of media propaganda.
Yeah.
And these are liberals that, seem to understand fully and will talk to you at length about how biased Fox News is, but they're completely unable to see that MSNBC and CNN is using the same formula on them. So I guess I'm hopeful that some will come to their senses and recognize that, but maybe I'm just too idealistic.
Well, again, I go back to the flat earthers because you've got to have a special kind of mentality. At this, you look out in space, and what is everything else? Everything else is a sphere, except Earth. I mean, come on, how does that make any sense? I mean, but this is the mentality we're dealing with. We're dealing with people that just cannot make a rational thought about the world that they live in and make things connect realistically, because it's just not the way their minds work at this point. They've been so indoctrinated into their bullshit that they can't see reality for what it is.
Yeah, I guess so. I remember seeing Hillary Clinton sitting on a stage somewhere. I think she was overseas somewhere. And she gets this particular look when she's really spewing out bullshit that I recognize. But she's like, Russian WikiLeaks. And you could just tell that the way she said it that was an hour long like focus group kind of like, let's just coin this term. Let's coin this phrase, Russian WikiLeaks. And she knew she was full of shit when she said it, but she said it anyway. And I'm thinking to myself, who's going to buy that crap? Oh.
All of her supporters.
Yeah.
Without any question.
Exactly. Yep. It's just scary. It's really scary. I mean, and then when you try to talk to people and say there's no evidence, I posted it, I think, the pretty long Intercept video where Glenn Greenwald is confronting James Risen, I believe it is, about his article. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But see, here, like we were talking last night about the difference between those of us who are committed to the policies rather than
person.
Policy. Okay? You have people who are just completely and utterly devoted to people like Hillary. Unfortunately, on our side, we also have people that are completely and utterly devoted to Bernie. Okay?
Yeah.
The problem is that get into this kind of, what's the word? Identity politics, where you're completely devoted to the particular candidate. That's ridiculous. It's we're not the ones that are supposed to be loyal to them.
Right.
They're supposed to be loyal to us. That's the problem here.
Right. The cat agrees.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's crap about. Speaking of that, with to jump subjects, but it's related with Bernie right now. I don't know how you guys feel, but I was still hosting the Burn Storms when Bernie started talking about Russia, and I was like, oh no, here we go. And I wasn't comfortable with that. Now, I have pretty much tuned Bernie out now. Yeah. I'll always be thankful for what he did. I don't know, like him, I guess. I'm not trashing my Feel the Burn t-shirts. I'm really disappointed because I think, yeah, that's great. I heard the argument, well, nobody should give him shit about pushing Russiagate because look what he's doing, moving the platform to the left of domestic policies. Okay, well, that's important, but come on, like pushing war with Russia and all this other stuff, that's important too. That matters.
Incredibly dangerous.
So what I'm seeing though is now it's like this camp is splitting. Like either you still support Bernie and you just, I guess, either you're in the camp that you believe Russiagate or you kind of believe it, or you just don't care and decide to ignore that he's saying that. Or you're in the camp, I guess, where I am, where we are, which is that, we don't like at all that he's doing that. I mean, I kind of ignore it. I'm not going to bash him because, I've heard the argument, people say, well, we have no idea what he actually has dealt with. And how is he still, if he had come out and said all of this stuff, if he had been outspoken about the DNC fraud lawsuit, for example, which I think was extremely disappointing that he didn't. This is American fucking democracy. I mean, what else matters if that doesn't matter, right? But I think, okay, we don't know. We haven't been, in this for 4 decades like he has. So I cut him some slack. But when I hear Tim Canova, and he's officially my favorite candidate now. I don't hear anybody else. Tim Canova is Bernie Sanders also talking about election integrity. And I don't mean Putin hacked the machines. I mean Democrats trashed his ballots, and it's happened other places too. He's talking about that, and he's talking about Russiagate being nonsense, pretty much. I mean, if you hear his most recent appearance on Jimmy Dore. So, if we have a candidate, if Bernie does run in 2020, I don't know. I don't know if he would. He seems like he's getting up there in age. But if we have Tim Canova or someone like him running against Bernie, then I think it is fair to call out Bernie's pushing Russiagate and foreign
Absolutely.
policy issues that we don't agree with. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You can simultaneously, you don't have to be a Bernie basher or like, hate him or trash him or whatever to criticize what he's doing in backing Russiagate and all that. The controversy came from Billy Taylor jumping the stage. Did you hear about that, Snort?
I heard a bit about it.
Yeah, he was a big Bernie supporter, supposedly. I don't know. I hear other things. Someone told me he was actually a Hillary supporter. I find that really hard to believe, but whatever. But he worked in the Bernie campaign, and but he is unhappy with what Bernie's saying about Russia. So he jumped the stage in Philly when Bernie was speaking, and he just had like a bullhorn and was behind him and chained himself to the fence.
Hillary would be bashing Bernie for going along with the Russian narrative because that's Hillary's narrative. That just
It doesn't make any sense to me.
no,
I mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
whatever. I guess anything's possible, but now regarding protests and like, I don't know. I think the guy has the right to do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, Bernie encouraged people to get out and fight,
Yeah.
the revolution. I personally don't really think protesting is all that effective. I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't have jumped the stage. I mean, he could have been shot. It could have, who knows, if Bernie has good security. I don't necessarily agree with his tactics, but that's just me personally. He has a right to say what he did, though, about Bernie pushing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so the primaries. I haven't really dug into all of it yet, but what we were looking at last night and the little bit that I had time for today, it seems like the actual numbers and turnout was still looking like traditionally like more Republicans. Now the Democratic voter turnout is up, but it's still, I mean, I can't say that across everywhere yet, but we were looking at Ohio specifically, it seemed like. Wait, what do you have going on in Iowa, Snork?
Really confused.
Oh, okay.
We have majority of Iowans now are not affiliated with a party.
Mm-hmm. Smart people.
The under 40 age are completely ignoring the parties.
Yeah.
Both parties.
I read. I'm sorry to interject here. I read.
You talk too much, Brian. I'm kidding.
50% of American voters now are either registered or want to be affiliated as unaffiliated or independent.
Right.
58%, holy shit, have left the two major parties.
That's huge. And that's what... Sorry, I'm doing all the talking. Snork, say something.
Our local... I still feel that in Iowa, I do my best to help the Democratic Party. Our Green Party here has a candidate who's ineligible to serve for first district congressman, so not going to go that route.
Right.
So I attend, and one of the few people that we have very small for a large county like ours. We have a very small number of people participating. Across Iowa, 75% of the volunteers are gone, gave up after the last election. They refused to participate. So at the precincts for the caucuses this year. We had many precincts that didn't even have a voter or a volunteer show up to register to vote them. Just gone. The whole precinct blown away. At our meeting last night, we almost came to blows over the Hillary versus Hillary Bernie thing as to those of us who think it's best for the party to own up and call the main party on the line and say, stop being in the news every day. There's not a week that goes by that something new doesn't come up that they're doing that's underhanded, like the selling the email lists. Why is the Democratic Party, was so broke, paying Hillary $3 million a month?
That's insane.
Pantsuits.
And yet the DNC had a huge problem picking his up for free. Holy crap!
Pantsuits. Very, very hideous pantsuits. That's what it's called.
Well, we're saying why are you arguing about the last election? Well, why is Hillary still in control?
Yeah.
Why hasn't the Democratic Party asked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz to be indicted or charged with something?
I think
Why hasn't Donna Brazil been charged with something? Why hasn't Rachel Maddow been called to the carpet for the incident after the debate where the one who starts is not supposed to get the last question too? So when Bernie got the last question, Rachel Maddow went to Hillary personally and did an extra question for Hillary at her house. She didn't do that for Bernie.
Yeah.
But Bernie really creamed her on the last question, so she got to go spin it afterwards. And that wasn't supposed to happen. So to my mind, Rachel Maddow should never have been another journalist again after that.
No. But I think... Oh, go.
I was just going to say, you can blame, we can sit here and blame the individual and pundits. Where are they getting their marching orders from? Who's paying their pay? GE, Northrop Grumman. I mean, these are the people these are the companies behind MSNBC and CNN. I mean, these are, that's why we've got such horrible reporting.
Well, it's all over the place. Not only that, but the candidates who get the national money have to agree that they give a certain amount of their money that they receive to printing presses, printing companies, to radio, and to whatever media. And most of the consultants appear to be getting paid for that. So they have really bad consultants. Anybody that told them to do things, and they spent $1.2 billion and she still lost. That consultant shouldn't be being still paid.
No, but the Facebook ads, half of which weren't seen till after the election, that had huge impact. But
it did. Yeah, it completely derailed a multi-billion-dollar campaign.
So I think it's really simple. We can go, why are they digging in their heels and refusing to do the autopsy on the party and figure things out? Well, it's really simple, because they know they don't have anything else. Because they're going to stick with their corporate donors. They have zero interest in representing the people, and they know that this is all they have. So we can sit here, I look at it and go, God, why are they doing the same shit they did in 2016? They're going, Trump's scary, and that's going to get people out to the polls, which we talked about. That's why they keep airing all this nonsense nonstop on the air. They want to keep everyone hyped up because that's all they have. That's all they have.
But this is part of the point too. This is why you've got so many top-ranking Democrats pushing for Trump to be impeached. And it's because they realize that with Pence in office, he is the ultimate boogeyman. They can raise enormous amounts of money with somebody like Pence in office, scare the shit out of your average Democrat, and they'll come running back in droves. You'll see that 68% number plummet. Because I mean, that's their strategy. They're not interested in winning. They're interested in funding.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right.
Now, I haven't heard anything more about the West Virginia yet. With Paula Jean Swearingen losing, my hope would be that she would run for third party.
I think they all should get the fuck out. Pardon my language, but I really do, because I had a conversation with a candidate today, a CFAR candidate who lost, just a really brief one, and it was kind of like, I said something about running, independent, like Tim Canova. Well, then that gives more power to Trump. Well, okay, we have to get out of that box. We have to get out of that fucking narrative. Because, listen, like you just said, what was it, 58% of people?
68.
68%.
68.
Holy crap.
68.
So, Democrat is a bad word. And I am shocked that so many people still don't get this. Like, I understand that in certain places that maybe you do have a better shot because we have, brainwashed masses of people still thinking Democrats are good. I don't know. That maybe in certain places that's your best shot to run. And we care, as with CFAR, we care about what issues you stand for, not what party you're with. But in many, many, many races, there are so many people that don't get out and vote. And if you ran as an independent, not, some Democrat or Republican that people are just totally turned off by, maybe you'd actually win. It's like, it's just so maddening, I don't know.
Well,
same old
back
shit.
to conspiracy theories.
Yes.
I personally felt that if Canova could have won his seat in 2016, he would be running for president this term.
Quite likely.
I think he's presidential material.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think he is too.
I hate to sound like I'm biased, but I am prejudiced. I've been dealing with elderly issues for the last 2 years, going to classes, support groups, and everything. And I know that people can be healthy up to 100. Not everybody.
Right. Yep.
And I just feel that the odds are stacked against Bernie being healthy in 2020 for election through a whole year of the slinging that's going to go on. But somebody, and again, this is going to sound ageist, I think somebody that's younger that has the same ideas or maybe better ideas is who we should be looking to. And this time, to me, that does appear to be Canova. I will have to say, I was John Edwards' support. Was the I don't think I was the top contributor, but I had a good job at the time, and I was one of the leading contributors in my county for John Edwards when he was running.
You don't want to see his house that's for sale right now then on the MLS. You probably contributed to that.
Yeah.
It's right down the road.
Anyway.
Yes, he ran the Southern Poverty Law Center and all that, but you should see this sprawling estate. Oh my God. But anyway.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on that. I see Bernie, honestly, my grandparents lived until their mid-90s, and my God, they seemed 20 years younger, and I see Bernie as the same way. I mean, you can see his energy level. He's like someone, at least a decade younger, but that doesn't mean, even, if he's going to live to be 96, that doesn't mean that the public perception of him, even if he's perfectly healthy, the public perception of him is going to be, oh my God, he could drop dead at any moment, So that's the danger there. And I'm torn because while I would support him if there weren't a better option.
Well, again, if we come to the point where he's the best candidate, I'll have no qualms voting for him.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to see someone that's going for the same issues, somebody that has that zeal but is younger. And I really haven't seen that many other than Canova that come close.
Right.
But, you know, like I said, going to these classes where we talk about things to look for, and I see them in Bernie.
I remember you talking about that.
Because the age we age, and we don't all age identically in every part of our body. But the clues, the general clues, the sign that the spine is losing, like slumping forward, stuff like that.
Well, the man never sits down, does he?
I don't know, but the ability for someone to speak and take answers to questions and react to them. I don't know if he's just tired or if he's starting to. Either way, at some point, I do think we need to start saying, "No, Hillary, you're too old. Bernie, you're too old. Joe, you're too old." And I know that sounds horrible, but at some point we have to remember that the natural thing is for people at the older age to become advisors, not executives.
Well, I personally, even though I'm extremely disappointed in Bernie not calling out the election fraud that happened, I'm very disappointed in him for not backing Tim Canova. I can't remember at what point he did or didn't, but
I'm as disappointed in his not calling out Canova as I am with Warren not endorsing Bernie.
Right, it's that kind of thing. But that being said, like I said, there's been this weird split recently, or maybe it's not recently, I don't know, in this thinking. I think Bernie, because I like the guy, I genuinely like the guy. I don't know him, but I like him. I think he should retire. Spend some time on Lake Champlain with your grandkids. I mean, you've done a whole lot of shit for this country, and it's time to pass the baton. And for whatever reason, I'm not going to get into speculation. I don't like to talk conspiracy theories, but we don't really understand everything about why he just did this 180, that he did, saying he was going to go all the way to the convention and then not. I have my hunches about it, but as trying to be a journalist, I don't like to.
He did go all the way to the convention.
Well, okay, but he
just didn't push it once he got there.
Yeah, that was wrong, and people have a right to be pissed off about that. I agree, but I just can't ever I don't know, hate him or really, because I appreciate what he's done, and he's decades of doing the right thing, from his civil rights involvement early on that the Clinton camp tried to push down and ignore. But I do think it's time for him to pass the baton, and I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think we have to worry about Joe Biden. I think if you look at his most recent tweets, the guy has absolutely no interest in being president. He has no interest in the way he's talked about millennials, the way he's talked about, what did he talk about? He tweeted today about the extreme wealth gap has nothing to do with the fact that people feel that they're basically being cheated by the system. He's like, no, that's got nothing. What do you mean that's got nothing to do with it? Yeah, the man.
They exist in a bubble. When we were talking with candidate Brian Witt, who I really, really liked him. I want to see more of these guys. He's in the same, to me, the same vein as Tim Canova. Or guys, girls, whatever. But not to be sexist. But, when he was talking about his parents and what their house was and what they were able to buy. I can't remember what his parents did, but middle class jobs, right? And were able to buy this kind of modest to whatever ranch house in California, Pasadena or something. And now this damn house is $900,000. What the hell? Okay, why is this? Is this because school teachers jacked up the price, flipping houses? I mean, come on.
Yes, that was it. It was teachers.
They're all to blame. It has nothing to do with Wall Street and appraisers and
No.
So, why are things that way? I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time sometimes. I wish I could speak with, like, for example, my uncle, who is Republican and in a lot of ways kind of clueless. But I wish that people like that could understand that some of what I do is because I just want us to get back to that level of sanity, to what his parents, my grandparents, had, which was a shot at a middle-class life. And if you worked a regular job, you could have a regular house and a regular car and a regular retirement. I mean, and if you worked really hard and you were exceptional, maybe you did better. But I think it's also generational. They just can't see it because they didn't experience it. You've heard me say this before, but that age cutoff during the primary where they kept saying 45 and under, 45 and over, or whatever. Over 45 was for Hillary, under 45 was for Bernie. I was 45 during the primary. I was right on the line, and I kept thinking, this is tied to the housing market. I really think it is. Because that's where...
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Well, because if you think about it, even if you don't, most Americans, even if you don't have a lot, you own a home, or many own a home. So that is your one, like, source of your asset, right? So if I'm sorry, you probably heard me say this 5-6 times before, but just where I live or where you live, areas that were affected by the bubble and where the prices really inflated, there was this huge jump. You can go on Zillow and pull up 1,000 different houses and see from 2003 to 2005 this tremendous jump.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the houses that I see, in Chapel Hill proper were like $350, and then they jumped to $550.
Yeah.
That is huge. And you talk about coming up with 20% down on that. Yeah. So the people that are a little bit older than I am, that bought their house before that bubble hit, their mortgage is considerably less than what people after paid. So if you have an increase in your health insurance premiums, you're able to absorb it. If you're able to take vacations. If you bought in 2005, 2006, you've got probably over 30% of your take home going to your housing. It's just math, and I don't, I that's what I think a lot of the age well, it was that and the media that they were consuming, because older people tend to watch more television. So I think those were the two main factors. It was the housing bubble, which is your wealth, personal wealth.
What I think is really sad is that who was it? Was it Bradbury? I think it was Bradbury's book, Soylent Green. It's too bad that didn't come out around this time rather than
Soylent. So I always think of Soylent, the powder. My husband got this Soylent powder. Did I tell you about this, Snork? You'll be interested in this because it's science, I guess. So a bunch of IT geeks, I can't remember who came up with it. You know about Soylent, right? Yeah. Yes, they actually called it Soylent. So they were tired of getting like Sam's Club frozen pizzas and stuff, but they're all, like holed up in the basement, like Silicon Valley, the show, just working, and they didn't have time to cook. And they said, we need to come up with this shake that is really actually, not slim fast, but really has all the vitamins and nutrients that you need in it. And so, yes, Michael got that a couple of times, thinking it would help him lose weight, but it didn't work. But anyway, yeah. And you need lots of Beano if you're going to have Soylent. But yeah. But yeah, there was a big long wait list for it when it first came out. Now I guess you can get it pretty easily, but I don't know. It smells disgusting.
There was also an oil substitute called Soylent.
Oh.
It was fantastic.
Oh.
But the name, people didn't want to touch it.
I bet.
I mean, it was. I used some of their oil for extremely high speed moving parts. Like Mach 2 moving parts. Worked better than anything else I could find until something else. There was something else came out later. When I couldn't buy that anymore because people didn't like the name, I had to go to a university and have them invent something new for me. Right. But
so
name can kill you.
Dietary supplement and lubricant. Great.
But when people think of names, like especially with children, they think of it in their head how it's going to appear, and they look at it from that angle, and not the angle that other people are in. And the worst one is I had a job interview. A guy came up, hands me the form. It's the first time I see his name, and it's spelled Shithhead.
I thought this was like an urban legend or something.
No, I've heard it after this, but this was for real. This was me doing it. The guy was interviewing, and
was it a joke?
No, at first I thought it was a joke too, but I was trying not to smile, trying not to laugh, trying not to cry, whatever, and looked at it, and he was just so angry waiting, and he said, "It's pronounced Shithhead." And apparently he's not the only one.
Well, is that actually like an African name or something?
No, it's what people thought would be an African sounding name. Others heard it and thought it'd be cool, and it spread around. And before people start thinking about it and how to spell it so it doesn't look so bad, but when you put down on the paper, shithead, it's bad. And I felt so bad for the guy because he must get this every job interview. Just unbelievable. But the parents, Chahisa, stuff like that, the kid's going to be called Cheeseburger. I can't help.
Yeah, the names are very tricky. Like, I mean, I don't know.
My mother spelled my middle name wrong.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times people thought that my name was Michelle.
Oh, okay.
Because they see the middle name and think, oh, that's not right. And the brain would automatically compensate when they saw the extra E. I realized that it can happen to anybody, but it's very common out there when people are trying to make up names that they don't think of it from the other angles. When I was trying to name my children, my wife was so careful about that. My last name, my real last name starts with an H. And I tried to name the first kid, and I was thinking of middle names. And tried Derek Ulysses. And she's immediately trying the everything, every variation of what kids could bug.
Oh, duh. Yeah, well, people ask me, speaking of names, so I kept my last name, which, now I'm glad I did. I never thought I would, growing up, but as close as I was to my grandparents, I'm glad I kept Lane. But I never intended to. It was not any kind of like feminist, I want to keep my last name. But so Michael's last name is Ball. So when he proposed, I went, Kelly Ball. No, not happening. So I kept Lane, but then tried to name kids with the last name Ball. And I understand there's like Lucille Ball, but I was just like, no, this just sounds bad. And everything sounded fine with Lane. So they actually have my last name, both of them, and I have never known anybody ever to do this, ever, other than us.
No, I hadn't either.
And everyone thinks... Everyone... Do what?
Your daughter, Volley, probably would not have liked the last name Ball.
No. And we actually had, as a boy name, there's the poet, W.H. Auden, and I thought the name Auden was cool. And my sister was like, Oddball? But... And, he was tortured. Michael was tortured. He was called Michael Nuts and all kinds of things. So But my point is that it's interesting to me that so people will always assume that he is their stepfather. It looks on paper, I had my kids out of wedlock and he's their stepfather, and I know so many women that are kind of the typical feminist types. Hate to put the label on them, but they keep their own last name. Yet they're so adamant about it. I'm not changing my name, but then they turn around without a blink of an eye and give the kids the dad's last name. Now this might sound sexist, but whatever. I mean, a lot of times it's the mom, not always, but a lot of times it still is the mom dealing with the school stuff, with the field trips, with all that. And when it is confusing when the parent has a different name than the kids, right? But people always assume that. So I'm the only one I've ever known to do it that way. And it was never any kind of, it's not a power struggle or a feminist statement. It was just pick the name that sounds better. Like.
My wife had a very common last name. And she couldn't wait to change it.
Yeah, right. I mean, just pick whichever one sounds better. I don't know.
And my daughter's philosophy is she's not giving up her Viking warrior last name.
Ah, okay. Wait, I think I know it, but that's okay. You don't have to say it on here. But, so anyway, well, we have, it was unfortunate that we had to, can the online town hall, but we'll be doing that next week. And we're doing one tomorrow night with Lisa McCormick. And
what time would that be?
That's at 9:30.
Yeah.
And
I won't miss it.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Are you Central Time?
I'm Central Time, but I have a meeting tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And sounds like you're staying active in local politics, huh?
I'm
Trying.
trying. Sometimes it feels hopeless.
Yeah, we have a lot of I think there's a lot of down feelings today with the primary, but
Yeah.
I think people should look at it from a different angle, really. I think
our primary in Iowa is June 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of people running for governor.
Mm-hmm.
And we might have to go to convention to pick the governor. I'm really hoping that people can decide and pick the governor, because so many people feel that the party is compromised in picking the candidates.
Mm.
And I feel that if delegates go and vote in who the candidate is, it's going to be very negative for us.
Mm-hmm.
So
But what do you hear on the ground in Iowa? Do you hear this, 68% of people, and you said younger people definitely, but do you feel like people are abandoning the parties? Like when you go to these, well, you're going to Democrat meetings, so.
No, even in the Democratic Party, the people are at odds. What do we do? We're going to stay with it. I just wish, a lot of them are, we just wish there was a viable third party. And it's just an unbelievable number of the people left that are willing to volunteer each month that say, I don't know if I can come to the next one. They're going to give up.
But I think even if there was a viable third, an independent party, I just see, and I don't want to bash like the Green Party, but no matter what party it is, then you have all of these layers of bureaucracy and people that are vying for positions of power. I mean, I've heard about this stuff happening in the Green Party too. It happens in every party. I just feel like that shit shouldn't matter. I mean, you remember on the call with Our Voice and we brought up, what was it? Me Vote? It's on Twitter. It's something in Australia. It's at MIVoteAUS, I believe. But they are basically, that's what it is. At MIVoteAUS. This is basically direct, issues to the voters. Screw the party. Get them out of there. Why are we wasting all this damn money on them too? Imagine the stuff we could do in this country if we didn't waste all this damn money on ads for stupid mainstream useless media and on these parties. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So anyway,
I actually blew up at about the meeting the other day. Was that, why did I get an ad in the paper? Not actually an ad in the paper. It was a postcard. Mm-hmm. It was die cut paper cost, or a poster that you have made that has a flip out die cut part.
Uh-huh.
It's really expensive. So we're talking $1 or $2 per page. Just
stupid. When you hear these numbers of what they spend, fix a damn school. Go fix the water somewhere. I mean,
but to me, what was upsetting was these people are asking for money from me, and they're making stupid expenditures like that.
Yeah, no. I think the other thing Bernie's campaign did is burn everybody out on giving any more money, because where is that money? And you know what? It just doesn't matter. I mean, people donated that couldn't, and I think everyone is after that is just done with it. There's no reason. Cut out the middleman. Cut out the money. Cut out the parties. It should be straight, voters to the issues. Elect the candidates.
Completely publicly funded, which we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know. Not until you get people to stop listening to MSNBC and Fox News and all this nonsense. Okay, well, it was a great impromptu, whatever this was.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you.
Test, yeah, good to talk to you.
Nice discussion.
Yeah,
I'll
good.
have to go check out the new Ryzen 2.
Yeah. I've seen some reviews. It looks like a minor bump, but it looks to be pretty decent for the price.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be building a new one next month.
Cool.
2 months.
But Ripper 2 is coming out soon as well.
I'll hold.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for this phone that is, my phone isn't here. I cracked my iPhone 6. It's really old. It's literally like the shards of glass are hanging up in the corner. And I almost cut my ear, but I'm like I'm going to see how long I can keep it like that, because I dropped it. Because there's some phone coming out, I think it's called is it Lisbon? I think it was. Anyway, I think it's supposed to be January, but I don't think I can make it until January. But anyway, mine is way worse than that. No, it's hunks of glass are coming out of it. But I'm being cheap. So, and I want to wait for this other phone because it's supposedly all encrypted. And so,
nice.
Yeah.
About encryption?
No.
Don't worry about encryption.
I don't know.
I'm serious. Don't worry about encryption.
Really?
Your encryption good enough.
I don't know.
Hey, by the time it's out, I mean, who are you trying to encrypt from?
I don't know. I talk to people.
Yeah, but who are you trying to hide from? Who don't you want to see it?
I don't know. I mean, I just
if it's
don't.
The government, they're going to see it. The
well,
I mean, of encryption that we do is nothing compared to what they can decode.
Well, it's pretty cool though. So
I'm not giving away any secrets there. Just I know. Just our capabilities must be huge by now.
Yeah, but if you don't try it
to encrypt we used to have encryption limits that we could when we were sending stuff offshore.
Right.
Because we had a thing we signed that said to the State Department, we will not go above this level of encryption. And basically it was the amount of file that they could decode in 10 seconds.
Oh, nice.
So if there's something out in the market, and remember when Apple and Microsoft had complained completely in public that they were upset about being required to give over access to their material, you think that they can release anything that the government doesn't already have the capability to do decryption-wise before that first phone even hits the market. So if you're worried about hackers getting your information, go for it. Get whatever it is. Get your Apple 25, get whatever. Apple, I still believe, is wonderful equipment. It's not their fault if some two guys in suits and ties come up and say, yeah, it's not going to be encrypted about this level until we get the data.
Okay, but here's an example, and I know it's late. We all need to go. But so I'm actually, I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one. Although all I did was do my research. I don't really understand that much of the technology. I just dug around a little bit. But apparently what we chose, to use for our organization is something called Keybase, which works just like Slack, except it's encrypted and nobody could get to the servers, like if anyone ever wanted to look at all of our information. And I think, you know what, maybe it doesn't matter, but for activist groups that are really actually trying to work to get stuff done, I mean, why leave yourself open to that? Like, why not go ahead and use... So I found this Keybase, and somehow, I don't know what the hell I did. I clicked on some shit.
Who are you hiding the data from? If you're hiding it from news agencies, okay.
Well...
You're hiding it from Singaporean hackers? Yeah, okay. If you're hiding it from the U.S. government, give up.
Well, I don't know. Apparently... Okay, we'll put it this way. Michael, when he worked for a company called Dimension Data, and they sent him to India for 3 weeks to train his replacements. He knew some guy that lived in South Africa, and I don't really want to divulge very much, but apparently he was really down in some hacker stuff, okay? And he actually, out of the blue, said to him the other day something about use Keybase. And he was like, oh my God, my Luddite wife found that and installed it for her group. And he's like, what?
If your organization is concerned about non-government actors interfering with what you're doing, go ahead, use whatever encryption you can have. But if your reason for purchasing it is to hide it from the U.S. government, give up.
Well,
I can't imagine what they can do now.
Yeah.
Especially with the new Utah facility.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so much. Yeah. Look, I mean, we do this out on the internet, and there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to hide, and I don't care. I mean, but there are other things, I think, when you're like planning, things that we do for candidates and stuff that really we don't want to leave it open. I think people have a right to, I don't know.
Basically, and I can assume that if we have a protection, that basically the people who require these protections know what they're trying to protect against. Right. So if our facilities with secure data do not even allow a line out, it doesn't go out of the building. There is no such thing in many of our computing sites as an internet connection. If something leaves those facilities, it does not go out by a net cable.
Oh, I feel really stupid. It's called Librem, not Lisbon. Librem is the phone. Okay. If you dream of owning a Linux phone that respects your privacy and keeps your data secure, you'll want to check out Purism's new crowdfunding campaign. Starting at $5.99, the Librem 5 will run the GNU Linux Pure OS distribution instead of Android, and will include a slate of features aimed at helping you protect your digital identity, including end-to-end encryption of calls and texts made to only other Librem 5 handsets. See, I now use Signal, and we use Keybase. So, I don't know. It's not that most of what I'm saying is that secret, but...
Again, that's it. I can tell you right off.
Doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Great.
Be helpful. And again, I personally believe that the NSA should be listening to us. I don't think they should be selling data to Apple. Don't think they should be selling data to Walmart. But their stuff is bad. There's bad stuff out there, and believe we should have an organization looking at that stuff and looking for it. So I actually view it as not an invasion of privacy as much as unnecessary, because I know how bad stuff can be.
I would agree with you, except that of the corruption at the levels that we have.
The corruption is
yeah.
it. You got it right on. I
Yeah.
don't want the data to be used for presidential elections.
Mm-hmm.
It should not be used for elections. The only purpose that data should be used is to prevent a major disaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Exactly.
You know, somebody. You know, I believe that the U.S. Air Force needs to know when it has to have its aircraft ready, when it has to have its submarines ready, when it has to have this. And I say that NSA should have the ultra most secret site capability. And, you know, I actually don't have a problem with them being able to read every keystroke I make. You know, again,
really?
like I said, what importance of what goes across my keyboard? You know, I can think of how I would decode things, and I know that if I had the Utah facility, there would be nothing that I couldn't decode, except two people handwriting in Navajo language. I don't speak Navajo.
Right. Okay, well, I can tell Brian's going to fall asleep in his chair here, so.
I gotta go anyway. I'll see you guys. Bye,
Okay,
guys.
good to see you, Snark. Thanks for coming in.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Go sleep.
Good night, Joe.
Good night.
Mm-hmm.